Never let it be said I don't listen to feedback, folks. A few days ago, I released a video where we holidayed 100 years into the future in the English leagues and showed you all sorts of stuff that had gone on in England. And the biggest piece of feedback I got was it would be nice to see some other countries. So other countries I have found. I've loaded up England, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Argentina, Brazil, Scotland, I think as well. And forget 100 years, we've gone 200 years into the future. There's probably going to be some things happen in this video. Hello folks and welcome to FM23 200 years in the future. And those of you who were upset that we just focused on England last time will be delighted to know that the game has got its revenge on all of us English people, because not only have we loaded up loads of other nations, but Football Manager seems to have really turned on England. We're looking at the Premier League, the 25th highest reputation league in the world in the year 22-22. And it's a Premier League table that has Colchester at the top of it. Very few current Premier League teams anywhere in it. And I have no idea what has gone on or how this has happened, but English football has just fallen apart, it seems. I'm baffled. If we look at the competition reputations, the best league in the world is Denmark, followed by France, followed by Germany. I don't think this is anything to do with how I've set the save up. What I've done is the only league I had fully loaded was Wales, and all of the others were on view only. So France and Germany were both set up the same way as England, on view only. So there's no reason why England should have collapsed whilst France and Germany maintain strong leagues. And not only that, the Welsh league is nowhere to be seen on here either. So the one that was loaded up properly, it's not like just Wales has been massively favoured. The Welsh Premier League is the 37th, which, to be fair, is probably higher than it is in real life, but is still well below the English Premier League. England has just, like I say, absolutely collapsed. I wonder if it's just the Premier League or has the national team fallen off as well. 17th best national team in the world. I know on the previous one of these we looked at, England won lots of World Cups. And to be fair, in this one, England's still winning some World Cups early on, but somewhere around the turn of the previous century, around 2100, it looks like English football has just fallen apart. What is the European/South American Super Cup? Is that even a thing? Has this game got a mind of its own and started developing new things that I hadn't even heard of? Let's look through the English leagues and try and figure out what might have happened. So look at the state of that Premier League. It is genuinely baffling. If we go down into the Championship, have we got any? There you go, Manchester City, top of the Championship, with Barnet, Stockport, Sutton, Wrexham. So what has gone on here? Arsenal down there in 16th place. There's no sign of the likes of Manchester United and Liverpool yet. There you go. If we go into League One, we've found Manchester United and Liverpool, both lost in the playoffs. They were won by Blackburn. Chelsea down here as well. Remember, this is 200 years' time. So I guess anything could happen in 200 years. I didn't necessarily expect things to go this nuts, though. Peterborough, 12th in League Two. All the things that could happen over 200 years of football, and the team I support are still pretty much where we always are. Yeah, this all looks about right. We've spent most of the last 200 years in League Two. Fantastic. Everyone else has shifted around us, and we've just stayed lovely and solid as a lower league team. We've got, I mean, there's Premier League teams down at this level. Forest are in here. Wolves are in here. Yeah, we can't quite go into non-league. We didn't have them even set up on the view only. You can see that Posh did have a few years down in the non-league, though. I want to look at Premier League past winners, though. I want to see when it started to get weird, because at some point things got weird, and I want to know when. I don't think we're going to find out why, but when is almost as interesting as why. So initially, as you can see, it's Man City, it's Liverpool, it's Arsenal, it's Man United, Liverpool. It's all very normal. Newcastle getting in there after 30 years. Newcastle with a long period of winning. Millwall won the league. Then I mean, could you argue 2064 Millwall winning the Premier League? That's when things started getting weird. Maybe you could make that argument. Cardiff in there with a win. But it's still largely the bigger clubs. Newcastle have definitely become one of the bigger clubs. Leyton Orient and Torquay with third places. So it is starting to get weird towards the end of that first 100-year spell. There's Mansfield picking up a Premier League. Lots and lots of wins for Newcastle. But the further we go, the more ridiculous the league winners start getting. So we've not even made it 100 years yet. And we have a 10-year spell where the Premier League winners are Gillingham, Everton, Cardiff, Torquay, Bristol Rovers, Port Vale, Bradford, and then back-to-back for Hartlepool before Shrewsbury grab their win. Man City are still holding on at this point, though. So the traditional big clubs haven't completely collapsed. Man City battling with Harrogate and Wrexham have won a few in there. We then get another period of dominance for Manchester City. And it looks reasonably normal for 20 years or so there. Colchester would argue otherwise, but this is a long spell of Manchester City dominance. But then it just goes nuts. Cambridge winning the Premier League makes me sick to my stomach as a Peterborough fan. That is absolutely horrible. And then, the last big team to win, Chelsea in 2175. Do we ever get another big, proper, current Premier League club again? I mean, Southampton, Bournemouth, I guess, as current Premier League clubs, but an actual current Big Six club, it's been over 50 years since one of them have won this Premier League. It's just been turned on its head. Is it this bonkers everywhere? So France was one of the biggest leagues, wasn't it? If we go into the French Ligue 1, probably just Paris Saint-Germain. It's not just Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain are not in Ligue 1. Well, where on earth are they? There they are, mid-table in Ligue 2. Didn't expect that. When did that happen? Again, let's have a little look through. See, Paris Saint-Germain dominated for a long time, but then they just stopped. Did they ever come back? I don't. Surely Paris Saint-Germain could have gone 150 years without a Ligue 1 title here. There is just no sign of them. For almost the whole save. How? Genuinely, they're never there again. After 2033. So we've holidayed 200 years. And for like 185 of those years, Paris Saint-Germain are not winning the league. They must have had a financial collapse, surely. For 2033... So they scaled down the funding in 2026, then scaled down again in 2032. And it wasn't long before they were relegated. They were relegated within 7 years of the money being taken. And they just never recovered. Never won the league again. That's brilliant. That's really good. Germany. What weird stuff have gone on here, Germany? The 34th best international team in the world. Despite having the third best league, they don't have any good players, apparently. Any sign of Bayern Munich? Nope. The big clubs have collapsed everywhere. There they are, fifth. Dortmund slightly below them. This is madness. This is the maddest holiday I've ever done in Football Manager. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. Obviously, if you want to pause. I'm just trying to pick out the fun stuff, but if you want to have a proper look around, you can pause on these screens, get an idea of who's done what, who's ended up where. But very similar to the Paris Saint-Germain story and the story of the Big Six in England. For almost this entire save, there's been no sign of Bayern Munich. Dortmund in 21-26 and 21-47. So actually Dortmund have clung on for quite a long time as one of the traditional bigger clubs in a country. I cannot wait to go and see Spain and see what's gone on there. I need to know what's gone on with Real Madrid, with Barcelona. There's got to be a country where the big clubs have survived, surely. Nope. I don't understand. So Barcelona are there. Barcelona not as good as Zaragoza B. Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, both down in mid-table in the second division as well. What has happened to world football? We're going to look at the World Cup in a minute and maybe get a clue. Who are Fuenlabrada? They've won loads of La Ligas. Sevilla have actually done quite well as a bigger club in Spain. Sevilla have held on. In fact, Real Madrid was still winning the La Liga in the last 15 years, but have since been relegated. Barcelona got a runners-up, but have since been relegated. Almeria won La Liga 25 times in a row. I mean, I've got no words for it. This is absolutely bonkers. We haven't done Italy. Let's do Italy as well. And then we'll look at Champions League, World Cup, that kind of thing. So Serie A, please have something normal in you. No. Parma are up there. Lazio are up there. Inter are up there. Milan, Juventus. Serie A looks the most like its current self out of any of the big five leagues. That doesn't necessarily mean the winners match up, because I imagine it gets just as weird. Juventus with some long periods of dominance, as you would expect. Who's been winning it recently? I mean, Juventus have kind of stuck around towards the top for quite a long time. If you have a look at the most recent ones, Verona, Atalanta, Inter winning it in the last 5 years. They're probably, of all the current big clubs, certainly the Super League breakaway clubs, they're the only one that has won a league in the last 10 years. So Inter just survived for 200 years as a big club. We need to see who's been winning the Champions League. This is just bonkers. Current holders, Bredabilk from the Icelandic Premier Division. All right. So we're seeing Scandinavian dominance. That's the centre of world football now. Scandinavia, it seems. Wow. Benfica with a win there. Ajax managed to win. This Breidablik, they've won it. How many times have they won the Champions League? We can't see because we don't have the league loaded. We can see on here it's plenty, though. They come up a lot. When was the last time? Reading were the last English team to win it in 2168. That's a Reading team who are now in a relegation battle of their own in the Premier League. Birmingham won a Champions League as well. Manchester City won a few before they had their collapse. Well, that is... Wrexham have got a champion, and Cardiff, Wrexham and Hartlepool and Shrewsbury all winning in quick succession. Torquay with a Champions League win as well. Manchester City have won it so many times. Manchester City, 36 Champions Leagues, 62 Premier Leagues, but can't get away from the fact that for the last several years, they've been in the Championship. They dropped down to League One. I mean, they just fell off massively. They were still winning the Champions League around here, and then they just collapsed and have never made it back. That must be a similar thing to Paris Saint-Germain. That must be money being removed. Must be the same situation. Not clear. So much. They've won so much, you can't pick out any key bits. World Cup. Is it mad in international football as well, or is it less mad? Still quite mad. So from now, France, Holland, Portugal, Switzerland, Bulgaria, Holland, couple for England, back-to-back, 3 out of 4 for Mexico, South Korea getting a World Cup. There's still a few wins here for England, South Korea. Lots for South Korea. South Korea are a major footballing power, or were, still are. They've had like 150 years as a major footballing power. We'll have a look to see who's won it most times. Portugal winning it most recently. If we look at records, most times won South Korea the greatest international football team in history. Wasn't necessarily expecting that. The Euros, which I imagine is dominated by the Scandinavian countries based on what we saw in the Champions League. No, I know nothing. I can't even predict this right. I mean, it's fairly normal looking. There's lots of wins for England. Iceland getting in there with a win. With Breda Blick players, I imagine. Czech Republic, Slovenia, Croatia, Spain. England have won that quite recently, considering English football has collapsed. Folks, this is bonkers. This is madness. I'm going to leave this video here. I could do this for hours. I know there'll be lots of you asking for a copy of the save file. I'm not going to give it out just yet. What I'm going to try and do is holiday forward to 500 years and have another look. If it gets there, we'll do another video. Let me know down in the comments if there's other stuff you'd like me to check out in that video rather than just looking at competition winners. There's no point looking at stuff like Ballon d'Or, but we can maybe pick out some players and work out who the best players in the world are and see how their player development kind of stuff has gone. Because there was the technical attribute glitch, which is fixed now. I mean, we could do bits like that, but let me know down in the comments, what would you like to see in a 500 years in the future video? And then if we get that done, I might give you the file then. We might push on for 1,000. We shall see. Let me know down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, though, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on it for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.